What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate 2 Reviews, and we got the all-new Makita XGT. This is the GWT05. There is another very similar model number to this, and that's going to be your basically, they call it the hog ring, friction ring, whatever you want to call it. But I got the pin D10. It's kind of my favorite for most of these impact wrenches. I definitely prefer the pin D10. Seems to hold on the sockets the best, and with a lot of the friction rings that I've seen from Makita, they like to kind of just start sliding off and get kind of bent over time, and you have to actually replace them. The pin D10s I've had no issues with, so that's kind of been my preference so far. So let's get this thing unboxed and take a look at it. We'll also compare it to the current LXT version, which is the model number XWT15. So let's jump into it. Alright, so I ordered this off eBay. Now, this thing is quite expensive. It's about $324 last time I checked, which is just over $100 more than the current LXT version, which, yeah, that's pretty expensive. With a battery in a kit, you're looking at well over $500, which, honestly, yeah, is pretty wildly expensive. So I like some of the improvements that we've seen to this that I've seen from other reviews. We've got now a kind of like that, almost like that smoked glass kind of shell. You can see on the LXT version that the LXT is clear there. Don't worry about the yellowing too much on this. This is not, you know, a very new impact wrench here, so of course that's going to yellow a little bit over time. So let's see what else we've got here. They are about the same weight. I'm not really feeling like a huge difference in weight here. Let's see here for length, pretty much identical. I mean, looking at these from the top down, they are almost identical. Not surprising there. I wouldn't expect Makita to change too much on these. Now, spec-wise, the XGT version has about 20 to 30 foot-pounds more torque when it comes to fastening and removing of nuts. So it's not like a massive jump up. You're not seeing like 30-40% jump there. You're seeing just a small incremental jump here going to the new XGT version, which for the extra $100, is this worth it? That's kind of what I want to figure out. And one thing that I'm kind of surprised with, for the price of this, it's actually made in China. I thought this would be probably all made in Japan for that price point, and then we're not seeing any IP ratings. I was kind of hoping to see like an IP56 rating on this, like some of the other brands like Metabo HPT, Hikogi has, but again, we're not seeing that. As in modes here, we are pretty similar. I think we're almost identical modes here to the outgoing LXT version, just a kind of more of a, you know, condensing some of the buttons down here. We can see down here on the XGT version, which is right here, we've got basically the light and the mode button. For the removal modes, it's going to be one button. I do prefer the LXT version bit here more because, of course, these separate buttons, and it's a little bit, you know, just easier to use there. That's kind of my preference. All right, so let's see which one weighs more. As we can see, the size, they're pretty much identical size. I'm not really seeing much of a difference in size at all, other than, of course, the XGT being just slightly taller, but mostly because of the battery here, as well as the XGT batteries are, of course, a bit wider here. So you can see the base is just ever so slightly wider on the XGT, and Makita is doing this kind of more squared off design on the XGT tools. That's pretty much standard for all the tools now, whereas LXT has always been that, you know, rounded corner design. So not a big difference there, but let's see which one weighs more. All right, I'll start with the outgoing LXT version. Well, I shouldn't say outgoing, it's still a current model. We're at 3 pounds, 15.8 ounces. And for the XGT version, we're at 4 pounds, 2.5 ounces. Again, though, the battery packs are a bit heavier as well, so it's going to be a little bit more weight there, but not a massive amount. Let's see if I can notice this in the hand. Yeah, it's a little bit noticeable. It's not like, wow, they're super close, but yeah, the XT version is a little bit more noticeable as being slightly heavier. All right, before we jump into some of the testing here to see which one's faster, just wanted to show you this. So I've got this in speed 4 here. Notice how fast it goes right to full speed. Pretty much right away. Now check out the XGT version. There's a little bit of a soft start here. Kind of interesting there. I do like the trigger feel of the XGT. It's a very nice kind of like smooth, dampened trigger, whereas the LXT version kind of just feels like a regular trigger. that kind of gets, you know, more pressure as you pull back on it. With the XGT, it's about the same pressure no matter how far I'm pulling on it, which is really cool. Definitely feels a lot more precise. There's definitely more time taken to think out this tool when this was put together. So definitely a really cool design there. The soft start though, I don't know, it's not really my thing. Never really been a big fan of the soft start on a lot of tools. All right, this test is gonna be very simple. We're just gonna take this one leg bolt. We're gonna see how fast these two impact wrenches can drive this down. Now, as soon as that socket hits the wood, that's how we're gonna end the test there. So let's see which one's faster. We'll start with the LXT impact wrench. All right, so taking a look at the all-new Makita GWT05, kind of in conclusion, yeah, it does pretty good. Now, I don't know the exact, you know, timing of all these three before I edited the video, but overall, I think it felt about the same. I know it's just a slightly more power. If not, I don't know, it definitely feels like a massive improvement over the LXT version. And I kind of am disappointed that this is not, you know, IP56 something rated at least. I know it's got, you know, the XPT extreme protection technology, but that doesn't really tell us anything other than what Makita says to believe. And I really wish to see something like an IP rating on this, especially for the price point. I mean, in a kit, this thing is going to run you well over $500. Even if you just buy it separately, the battery and a charger, yeah, it's going to be $500 easily because of that super high retail price. Now, I will say when it comes to this stuff, I definitely will not pay retail for it. Honestly, getting on eBay for about 140 bucks, which is about what I paid for my LXT as well, I think is actually a pretty decently fair price to pay for it. Now, the reason I throw the Metabo HPT in here is, yeah, it's definitely not as powerful. That's pretty well established there, even with the specs. But the thing is, though, the IP56 rating, the lifetime warranty, the much more affordability of it is kind of really showing some of the faults kind of in the LXT, XGT stuff here, where, yeah, it's very expensive. You know, it's got a nice amount of features here, but at what point are we paying just so much for this stuff here that why bother, you know? It's not like we're seeing a monstrous improvement over the older versions for $100, basically over a 30% price increase, not to mention the higher price batteries, higher price charger. Is that worth it? And the one thing I can't, of course, test on this channel just yet is how well these tools are going to be reliable, how well the batteries are going to be reliable. I'm expecting them to be lasting for 5, 6, 7, 8 years of definitely really hard use just because of the price point of these batteries and tools. Now, that said, I'm really curious to see, you know, how well XGT is going to keep selling at just this really high price point. Now, of course, in this testing here, I can't really tell you anything that's going to be like, wow, it's absolutely incredible. You know, they add a ton of new features onto this. It's pretty much the same features as the LXT version. I'd like to see, you know, one of the buttons up here that a lot of the impact drivers have that allow you to, of course, you know, easily switch modes. It does not have that. This is pretty much, in all honesty, just the XGT version of the LXT with a smoked glass and just slightly better specs for another $120 or so. Is it worth it? If you can find a good deal on eBay, sure. I mean, but for $324, no. I can't honestly recommend this for that price point. It's just crazy expensive for what it is, and it's basically just the LXT version but made for XGT. It's not really like they did a ton of improvements here. They updated, you know, a little bit of the logos here, you know. There's just some small minor improvements here, but nothing that would really say, hey, this is definitely worth the $100 more for the XGT version. So I think LXT still, of course, has some huge selling points just because it's more affordable and you're getting at times very, very similar performance. Whereas I said in the past, XGT really shines in a lot of the outdoor power tools because the XGT 40-volt platform is less likely to overheat than 18-volt tools. That said, I will like to say Metabo HPT/Hikoki is really throwing in some competition there. There is a new version that's coming out here very soon. It's already available, I think, in Japan, some other countries, and I'd like to definitely try that out versus these two impact wrenches. And I'm not sure what the pricing is going to be on it just yet, but the multi-volt batteries are far cheaper than the XGT batteries, and they put out basically the same exact specs here. If we check out the bottom of these two batteries, These batteries are basically identical. They're both are 5 amp hour batteries at 18 volt, and this is going to be a 90 watt hour. This is of course a 90 watt hour 45 by 2. So I mean, they're basically the same thing. We're at 36 volt nominal here, and that's going to be the same on the Metabo HPT battery. Metabo HPT has been doing this longer than XGT when it comes to the 36 volt platform. I'm not saying they're doing it better, but I'm saying they have been doing it longer. So guys, that's kind of my take on this right now. It's very expensive. I definitely say it is an upgrade, but a very marginal upgrade over the LXT. It's not, wow, go out and buy it because it's so much better. It's just mostly more expensive, and it's going to be the exact same as the LXT, in my opinion. I don't really see any massive improvements over it, other than, of course, you know, some minor cosmetic updates, the soft start. I don't like that they, you know, condense the buttons down here. The LXT is definitely superior because I can, of course, you know, turn the light on and off with one button over here. It's very simple, very easy to read down here, where this is a little bit more confusing to understand here. So I will say that. But other than that, honestly, guys, you know, if you're looking for Makita, not level quality, but somewhere close from a Japanese brand, Hikoki Metabo HPT, and the only reason I'm including this in this video is because of just how affordable it is, and it's got the features that I would really want to see at this price point. IP56, a way longer warranty. Yeah, this is only a 3-year warranty on this for $320. Come on, Makita, give us like a 5-year, 6-year, 7-year warranty on the XGT stuff to really kind of make that additional price increase worth it. That's what I'd really like to see there. So guys, that's all I've got for you today. Leave a comment below. I'd really like to hear your opinions on this. Yeah, it looks cooler, but is it worth the price increase, guys? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Have a great day.